This is the podcast right here, boys. We are live on YouTube.
All the best stuff happens before we go live. My eyes are gonna be all red. What's wrong, buddy? What's wrong,
We did it.
Jeff? What's wrong,
I'm just, you know.
Jeff? What's wrong?
You have a little Tommy beverage.
No. I don't know. I just hate dealing with everything right now.
Well, guess what? We get to talk video games for an hour,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
You're gonna feel so much better after this.
We'll see.
Oh, we will see. I'll bet you.
Woo!
Care to put a wager on it, Jeff?
I don't know.
Make it interesting.
If you don't feel better after this pod, Trent will go buy you one of those burritos.
I don't think you would.
Two burritos.
One to have as a leftover, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get the podcast started?
Yes.
All right. Ugh. Look good, feel good. Look good, feel good. Welcome, everybody, to level 74 of the Sandbox Gamers podcast, a podcast where three vidgets meet weekly to talk about life, love, and the pursuit of vidya. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your co-host with the most, Wonder Rob, coming at you live on YouTube Live, but semi-live for anybody listening to it after the fact on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, wherever. From Southern California, and on the line with me are two of my best Arizona friends in the metaverse. The Ariana Grande of our podcast, Vactor.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
And the Tay Swift of our pod, the always angry JeffW.
Yeah.
He's really angry this morning. Usually he's just pretending. This morning we're getting the real deal. And I'm Beyonce. All the single babies. All the single babies. All the single babies. Is it? If you like a date, you should have put a thing on it. If you like a date, you should have put a thing on it. I don't know the words. I just know that's how it goes. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If this is your first time listening, well, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Why don't you do us a personal favor? Hit subscribe wherever you're watching us on. Are you catching the YouTube Live? Probably not. How many people are watching the YouTube Live right now, Vactor?
Let's check the old numbers. We got 0 viewers.
All right. That's what we get for recording it on a Sunday morning.
Woo!
We're smart boys. You know, if you're watching the YouTube Live after the fact, hit subscribe, or if you're wherever you're listening, just hit subscribe. We appreciate it. And while you're at it, leave us a nice 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. We appreciate it. Check us out on TikTok, on Facebook Reels, on Instagram Reels, on YouTube, which I've said like 5 times already. Check us out at all the places. Thank you. We got a lot to talk about today. Jeff, despite his anger, has been playing a lot of video games. We're going to get an update from JeffW on Counter-Strike 2. It's going to be fantastic. Trent got a new gaming PC. I've been playing some games, and we've got a lot of news to talk about. But first, our strategy guide section, our weekly question. Jeff, are you ready for this? Jeff, are you ready for this? Here's the question. If you were the president of video games, what would be your first course of action? Jeff, if you were the president of video games, Jeff, what would be your first course of action? Executive order, if you will.
I'd put Mario on the PC, I think. Or maybe I'd put Zelda on the PC. That'd be my course
Zelda
of
on
action.
PC?
Yeah. Take that. Trent, that's a
Well,
video
what would be
game.
That would be
That's true. That's
that
a
would be
video
Microsoft
game,
buying Nintendo, Jeff, which you were against, if you recall.
I mean, Microsoft wouldn't have to do it. Nintendo would just need to put it out. You know what I mean? It's not like a a thing they have to do or whatever. Microsoft has to do it.
What would be your first mod on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom?
I would make an animation where Link kills himself with a gun.
Wow. Wow. Jeff. Taking it to the
I
extreme.
put
just like
CJ in there. I put CJ from San Andreas in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Vactor, what would be your first act as president of video games?
I would make all the games available on one streaming platform. So you just have to pay one price and you get all the games.
Nice. I like that. Me, I would abolish card battle games. Abolished. Straight to prison.
Dang.
Card battle games.
There really aren't any good ones. For me, I don't like any of them.
Get them all out of my house, Jeff. I can't handle all these card battle games. All right. What's your first act as president, listeners? Let us know in the comments on wherever or not. I don't care. It's your life. Do whatever you want. All right. Good conversation, boys. It certainly beats what was last week's. What song would you murder somebody to?
Oh.
Tommy. Only serious video game questions on this podcast. All right. Speaking of serious, there's one thing that is deadly serious each week without fail. It's the mere fact that JeffW is always DTF. What does that stand for, Trent?
Down to talk fiction and fun.
DTFF?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, this is a landmark show we're doing right now. One of our best. All right, let's get into that. We got a lot of news to talk about. Take it away, Vactor. Tell us what's been going on.
Well, speaking of Nintendo, there's some new Switch successor rumors, which are boasting big games and big hardware, boys. Everyone here has been a Switch owner in the past. We've probably owned multiple Nintendo systems, consoles. This is just the latest round in the Nintendo hardware cycle. There's some very interesting Switch successor rumors. We don't know if it's going to be called the Switch 2, the Switch Pro Max. We don't know at this point, but the next Switch is coming very soon, boys. What do you think about a little Far Cry 7, Jeff, on the Switch 2? A little 2D Donkey Kong, Rob, in development right now, and a 3D Mario, which is open world and jaw dropping.
How is a 2D Donkey Kong impressive?
That's the best
question.
type
Why
of
the
Donkey
fuck
Kong.
would this be in the news? No one cares about a 2D Donkey Kong. Fuck
Donkey Kong
Jeff coming
Country.
Jeff with the hard-hitting questions.
This can run that game. Who gives a? You don't need a fucking put that shit on the Switch. Before you fucking hold all these games, Nintendo, for the next shit. The fucking 2D Donkey Kong. Get the fuck up out of here. Nobody wants to play that shit.
He's always angry. We love it. Oh, we love it. We love it. I made a prediction way back. I don't know. Did we talk about Super Mario 3D Land on the Switch on this podcast? That might have been back in the old Geek So to Speak days.
I think so. I don't think we did. As long as from what I can
when
recall.
they put out Bowser's Fury, remember?
Oh yeah,
and
that was not us.
It was mostly open world, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
But it was sort of an experiment, like a half open world, where you had your little areas. Every time you would go to a different area of the map, there'd be like 8 objectives that popped up, and then you would run to the other side, and all of a sudden it'd be different themed, and there'd be 8 different objectives on that side of the map. I remember talking with our defunct co-host at the time that would be my prediction for the next Mario game based on this game, this little half mini game, this little nothing game that they put out, Bowser's Fury. And I just want to say, vindication. I called it. I like the idea of an open world Mario game.
But
I know Vactor doesn't for some reason.
well, Vactor's not going to play it. But the question is, like, what? So is that not what Odyssey kind of is already? Like, what? I don't understand. Like,
I wouldn't call it open world per se, because
Uh-huh.
Odyssey is the same idea as Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Sunshine.
right?
Unless you want to call those open world. But those to me are like semi-open world or oh gosh, I can't think of a better way to describe it, but just like open areas.
Right. Yeah.
No,
like
I guess
segmented.
yeah, segmented. That's a good word. I guess the real word that would be defining it is no loading screens, right?
Right. That would be. But you mean like I would call Starfield open world, and I run into a loading screen every 2 fucking minutes on that. Talking about pile of shit games. But I would.
You love Starfield,
I do.
Jeff.
I do like it. I'm just angry today.
He's just angry. Yes.
But I just don't know. Like, what is this going to be like? Is it going to be like imagine yourself in Grand Theft Auto, and you're like, oh, look at this on the side of the road. There's some blocks that I can I could traverse this scaffolding in a Mario-esque way. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe you're right. Maybe the world is just one big world, no loading screens. It'd be weird to see Nintendo try to pull that off. But honestly, if it was me, I would take an Odyssey 2. But, if they're going to do this, I guess that's fine.
But maybe it is Odyssey 2 for all we know. They're just
Yeah,
instead
keep
of
in
having to
mind-
get in the ship.
Also,
it's
keep in
just
mind, these
everywhere.
are just rumors. None of these are confirmed. This is just a Nintendo insider giving us rumors.
Well,
so
to be
we don't
fair,
know if any of these are
If
coming
you've
out.
heard it, it's probably true. You know what I mean? That's how I take everything in life. If I heard it, probably true. You know what I mean? Come on. I guess not. All right, never mind. I guess not.
I was trying to think of everything I've heard that I could say was true, but I've got a bad memory. I don't even remember what we say on this podcast after it's done until I start making the shorts. I'm like,
All right.
oh,
You
yeah,
heard
we
that
talked about
Spider-Man 2 is going to be the game of the year. So it's true, Jeff. It's
No.
true.
Do you think Spider-Man 2 is going to be game of the year over Legend of Zelda, over Starfield, over Super Mario Wonder, over Super Adventure Hand? I don't know, Vactor.
I think I think Spider-Man's going to get a little bit of hype because it's going to also have recency bias once the awards start rolling out. But I think when you actually break down like what the games did different, I mean, I don't know how you take anything but Zelda for this year, because I don't think anything was as so far. I don't think anything's been as comprehensive and additional to the first game. So like I think Spider-Man, more or less, Spider-Man's gonna be pretty much like the last one. I don't know if they're gonna add mechanics to that game that is going to make it, Tears of the Kingdom.
Mechanics, they're superheroes, Jeff.
Yeah.
They're not mechanics.
Stupid.
Come on, Jeff.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what
You
I'm
already
saying.
know you can switch on the fly between characters. That's a new mechanic. That's brand new.
Boring. We'll see.
And you can fly now with web wings, Jeff. That's new.
in a mere 19 days, Jeff.
Yeah,
Trent called
we're
out of
close.
work.
Yeah.
Trent requested a vacation day.
That is the one game he will finish. That is the one I'm confident.
That's the game that's
in
going to
him.
get him
And
back
that's
into
the
video
one-
games
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
2023.
Because Jeff still owes me for that game. So we're going to be playing it together. Me and Jeff, we're going to be splitting it. It's going to be so good.
How are you going to split a game? You going to share the disc?
We share accounts.
We have our PlayStation accounts are logged into each one's on the other
You guys are
console.
wild.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's super weird. I'm looking at my PlayStation account right now, and I only see mine. I don't see Vactor's. I don't see Jeff's.
All
That's
you
weird.
gotta
Hold on.
do-
Maybe it's different on my Steam. Oh wait, there's nothing there.
There's only one thing you got to do, Rob. Hold on. I'm pulling it up now. It's all you got to do. All right, vamp, Rob.
I'm vamping. Trent's pulling up his pants.
All right.
This whole time.
There's only one thing that Rob has to do. What were you asking for, Rob?
I don't remember.
You said that you wanted to have your PlayStation have the same account as us. There's only one thing you gotta do.
Bring me my money.
It's stupid.
We did it, Jeff. We did it.
I hope that comes across.
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
think it
video
played
feed
right, but
and
that's
in the
good.
audio feed. Otherwise, it's just going to seem like nothing.
Bring me my money.
Someone tell him, bring me my money.
You could see the wheels turning in Vactor's face. He's like, "Oh boy, here we go. Let me just
We got
hit
him.
YouTube.
We
You
got
you
him.
burned me. You burned me.
Hey,
What can I
is
say?
there anything?
I've been burned.
Is there anything out about Far Cry 7, by the way, or is this the
No.
only rumor? Is this the only rumor that Far Cry 7, good God, has to its name is that it's going to be on this next Switch?
I don't really know.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. So yeah, Far Cry 7, not looking good. Let's just say that.
It just needs to be comparable to it just needs to be comparable to next gen consoles in order to be able to play that.
It's true.
But we all know Nintendo's history. So I'm not sure if Far Cry 7 will be a big performer on the Switch too, but only time will tell, boys.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
good conversation. Good talk. Everybody,
We also-
Open World Mario.
we also talked about being president of video games. Well, the Capcom president said that game prices are too low. Even during the recession, boys, that $10 increase from $60 to $70, it's just not enough. This report is saying that the games are just too low because development costs are about 100 times higher than the Famicom era. But software prices have not gone up that much, said Tsujimoto. This is at the Tokyo Game Show. He was speaking in September, or earlier last week.
Yeah.
He was speaking, talking about Nintendo's massively successful 8-bit console from the 80s. He says there was also a need to raise wages, considering the fact that wages are rising in the industry as a whole. I think raising unit prices is a healthy option for business. Oh,
Jesus. That is a
Wow.
Japanese man doing that,
That's
not just for the audio only. That was not a white guy
Yes,
doing
Trent.
that voice.
Trent is half Japanese. He is allowed to do these things. If Jeff or I did this, we'd be in so much
Yeah,
trouble.
I did not do that.
Why
So
is he
70
comparing prices to the Nintendo? You know, the Nintendo they came out 40 years ago, things are so much more expensive now. Can you believe it?
In like the idea of, oh, well, wages are going up. Like, fucking what are you talking about? Wages aren't going up. Rent's going up, bitch. What are you talking about? No one. This is the problem. Like, I think this is legit. Like, I think they're like, you know, they're stuck in like, there's certain industries where like, you know, prices are expected to be like I don't think anybody here is expecting a video game to be $100. So I think you would probably want it to be, and I'm fine paying $70 for a game too. Like I could, you know, swallow that pill. But I mean, if you charge me $80 for a game, then it becomes very like choosy for me. It becomes a thing where I'm like, all right, well, I'm not just gonna buy this on a whim because I want to play the game. You know, like you're getting closer to $100. Like this becomes an actual like thing I have to, you know, consider in my budgeting. Like it's not part of my budget of like throwaway money for myself that I just have every month if you're gonna keep raising these prices. And bullshit on wages. The wages are not going up. That is such a crock of shit. Like, and I'm talking not maybe in Japan. Maybe Japan cares about their people, but wages aren't going up.
There's a rumor online, Jeff, that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to cost $150. Would you pay $150 for Grand Theft Auto 6?
I would pay 100. I would pay 100. I think I would top out at like 120. I think. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I have it in me to pay over 120 for a game, especially one where like I'm not super into the online, but I definitely have to play the next Grand Theft Auto because it's just in my soul. to play that. But I don't. There's no fucking way I'm paying $150 to play a game. I'll just play something else. I think it's like
What about you, Trent?
yeah.
Would you pay $150 for Grand Theft Auto?
Not for Grand Theft Auto, but for Spider-Man 3. Now we're talking.
All right.
Oh,
You heard him
no.
here. You heard it here first, Insomniac. Trent's just dying to give you his money.
Right. Also, you know, for me, and this kind of goes back to, if you remember the leaked Phil Spencer email about AAA devs, like, all right, like games are becoming expensive. Well, then pull the marketing out of it. Like, do you have to market a video game on like Super Bowl Sunday or like Sunday Night Football? Like, pull those ads and pay your people more to make this game better. Like, I think, you know, they're complaining about it and like, yeah, sure, like some of these big games cost more, but like if you would just like get a hold of your advertising, you know, I think I can't remember what Phil Spencer was talking about, like hundreds of millions for some of these in ads, and it's like I don't. I don't think gamers are watching Sunday Night Football for Far Cry 7. You know, like I just don't think it's
Right.
like I don't think it's needed for that game to be a success. So that's another thing here. Like, all right, like you're complaining about game prices, but you're wasting your money elsewhere. Like you should tighten that budget. How many like did Minecraft, like what Minecraft became? Do you think that big like that game started off because it had good advertising? Like, no, that's not how video games become popular and successful. That's not how Baldur's Gate did not become the game that it is right now. We're talking about a current, you know, huge game on the consoles, on PC. That game did not become big because they put a Super Bowl Sunday ad on, or you know, I keep saying Super Bowl, but like any like sporting event, any garbage ads like that happened because of like word of mouth, because of YouTube. Like that is where your money is being wasted. And I don't know if, you know, I think it's like Phil Spencer said, it's kind of like ruin is the wrong word, but it's making this like huge change like impossible, because I don't think these companies will get off of that advertising stuff that they're doing.
The problem with this model is you look at Hollywood and movies, the big blockbuster movies versus the small independent movies. In 2023, it's very difficult for any to get any of these studios to take a risk because the budgets are so big, and the risk reward is like so skewed towards, okay, we can't lose any money because we put so much money into this. If we lose money, we're bankrupt. Instead of like, okay, we have all these smaller budget movies and we can take more risk, we can have more creativity, which is what the system used to be like. I think the video games are going to get that way too. If the video games are $100+ and they're putting so much money into, let's say, Call of Duty or whatever it is, and there's not going to be as much creativity, there's not going to be as much freedom. And I think that's where Nintendo excels more so than the other companies, of trying something new, trying something creative. I think the independent games are the ones that are going to suffer creatively versus these bigger budget games as the prices increase. Like I said, we already have the movie industry to show us a model of that.
Right, 100%. And that's a great point too. Like not only like Baldur's Gate, but like do you need any advertising for the latest Mario? Like truly, like you probably need some marketing dollars to like make the videos and make the trailers and do all that stuff. But
Just to
like
know that it's out.
you just that's all you need. All you need is like like minimal signage in a video, and like put out some YouTube clips, some trailers, like put it up on the Switch, like on your own platform, put a thing up that, hey, this is out now. Like Nintendo is gonna sell so many copies of any Mario Zelda game, and they don't like. I know it will never happen, but I would love to see them like strip an entire marketing budget on one of these games, except for like, hey, put on the Switch or put out one YouTube trailer. This is out here for then, right? And like you're gonna sell. Like, and I know that like, every game can't be like that, but a lot of these games could, because all they're making is Far Cry 7, Call of Duty 15. You know, like these things are established. So like, fuck your stupid make me pay $10 extra. Like, take your budget out of marketing. I just don't think you need it.
For the record, I would pay $150 for Grand Theft Auto 6.
You think you would? Yeah. Man, it would be tough. I mean, you know, if they did some like, the problem is GTA Online. I played a little bit of it. You know, I got banned at one point on PC for cheating.
What?
Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise. I'm back though. I can get back on right now. But I was giving free money
Don't
away.
worry, I'm back.
I was giving free money away is what I was doing. I was dropping it on people's heads and they didn't like it. And so I just I don't know. I just don't think like GTA 6 would pull. I think people would pay it, but it'd be tough for me, but maybe you could make me. It would depend on how good it was. I don't think I would pre-order that. Let's say that. I don't think I would pre-order. I think I would wait for initial impressions.
You pirate it?
Yeah. I wouldn't pirate it. I would wait for initial impressions. I would need proof that this is what they're saying it is, you know.
All right. Good talk.
Well, also kind of related to that, everybody's getting fired in the video game industry. Epic Games cut almost 900 jobs in the latest mass layoff, the same day that Sega announced major cuts at Creative Assembly. Epic confirmed that it was laying off 16% of its workforce, which is around 870 people. So this is just another of these major layoffs in 2023. Microsoft was planning to cut 10,000 jobs this year, including many at Xbox, Blizzard, Unity, Relic, Amazon Games, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Striking Distance, and more, all laying off people. So they want, you know, the games, the pricing for the games we want to rise, but we're going to have less workers, less people working on the games. I think the quality is going to suffer, Jeff.
Well, I would say to me the most interesting thing about the article that I'm not sure whichever one you put it in there. Did you read Tim Sweeney's statement about it, about Fortnite growth?
What's it say?
Basically, he's pointing out, you know, hey, like Fortnite is starting to grow again, like they're continuing to get bigger, which sometimes, I mean, that bubble has to burst at some point. That's going to stop growing. I think this isn't World of Warcraft. I don't think we're looking at another 10 years of, Fortnite stuff, but it was interesting because he said the growth is coming from pretty much the creator content being basically licensed content and creator content. So the revenue sharing, like basically no one wants to play Fortnite because of Fortnite. They want to play it because the Ahsoka skin just came out or the Boba Fett skin just came out. And I mean, we have a person in here that does that. You know, that is literally what takes him back to the game.
Don't call me out
for
on this
for a couple weeks,
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
you know, stops playing. To me, I think it's that was the kind of the most interesting thing to me. I mean, obviously it sucks that these people lost their job, but like, you know, I mean, so at some point the Fortnite bubble is going to burst. I mean, I don't think Epic can afford to hire 500 people that, you know, are making a Darth Vader skin, you know, essentially.
right.
So that does suck though. I mean, it is, you know, it doesn't surprise me. And it sucks that they probably don't have a union, you know, in this country. So rip, RIP, I don't know.
Rip, RIP, everybody.
Also, to be fair, Jeff likes to exaggerate. If the game wasn't fun, I wouldn't play it. Ahsoka and the skins are the motivating factor to get me to play it. But the game is fun. Jeff's saying nobody plays Fortnite for Fortnite. There's a lot of people that play it just because Jeff doesn't play it. But the reason I get back into it is because I like to try out the new skins. But the game is not boring to me. I'm not playing a boring game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun game.
Would you buy regular Fortnite stuff though if that was not an option? Probably not, right?
No, I wouldn't buy it. I would just play it
Right.
and use the free stuff.
Right.
But I would not pay for it.
Right.
I wouldn't pay for Fortnite.
So Fortnite would die if not for that.
Not necessarily,
though, right?
Because the battle pass, Jeff, and microtransactions. The battle pass of every whatever it is, couple months, you got to pay a certain amount just to keep on going and leveling up. I would still do that, so you'd still be having income coming in.
Yeah, but I think
also
even the battle passes though, they typically bury, Rick and Morty behind that at the end. The battle pass is built around licensed stuff too, right?
More recently, yeah, but the battle pass on everything, all the games are going that way now. Like you look at Call of Duty, you look at all these, it's just part of the 2023 ecosystem on all these games. It's a natural evolution of the battle passes. Okay, let's add more incentive for people. Here's something like in Call of Duty just recently, Spawn. We're going to give you the Spawn skin. We're going to give you the Nicki Minaj skin. Like those are things that are just attractive. Oh yeah, the Shredder skin. Those are just things that are adding to it. But people are still playing Call of Duty for Call of Duty, right? Like you're not just playing it just to get the Nicki Minaj skin. It's just like the cherry on the sundae. See, Jeff, you eat the sundae, but not for the cherry. You're not eating that sundae for the cherry because you can just go buy cherries. You're eating it for the sundae plus the cherry. So if you get a little bit of that,
what if people are only paying for the cherry though? Is all my point is. I don't think people are paying for that sundae, which is going to put the DQ out of business. You know what I mean? Should we go further in this?
Yeah. You want the chocolate syrup, Jeff? You want the whipped cream?
You see, the console is kind of like the cone. All right.
Yeah. Also, on the same day,
it's like the banana.
Well, speaking of the banana, on the same day, on the same day that they announced those layoffs,
Said, speaking of the banana, right,
brought back the share the wealth emoji. Jeff, you check the show notes, you'll see the share the wealth banana on top of his throne. I'll put it. Actually, you know what? Let me share my screen here real quick. A little tone deaf on Epic's part. Bringing back this on the same day as firing all those people.
Yeah. A rich ass banana.
That's a little tough.
So that's the banana I was speaking of. But bananas are good. My son loves bananas.
Kids love bananas, man. Kids got no teeth.
Yes. Something kids don't love is strikes. SAG-AFTRA members vote overwhelmingly to authorize strike against the video game industry. So the writer's strike just came to a close in Hollywood after I don't know how many months. I think they started in May.
Yeah.
And they just now came to a decision. We talked about it on a previous episode. But now the video game industry, boys, talking about video game strikes. The vote was 98.32% in favor of a strike against 10 of the major video game companies. Your girl Fran Drescher, who is president of SAG-AFTRA, it's time for the video game companies to stop playing games and get serious about reaching an agreement on this contract. Nanny.
Fran Drescher's on the pod. How did we get her? Fran, so, we loved you in the Nanny.
I wonder, I don't remember there being, they had a writer's strike in TV in 2008. I remember that. You all remember that. In TV and
I
movies.
remember.
I don't remember a video game strike. Like, when was the last video game strike?
I can't think of it ever happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
This will be,
of course, don't quote me on that. I might be wrong, but I don't recall it ever happening.
Yeah. But they're talking about the same things that TV and movie guys are talking about. The exploitative use of AI and lagging wages for those who work in the video game industry. And we just talked about all these layoffs. So, man, boys, this hobby of ours that we enjoy so much is coming under fire. They're trying to take our games from us.
You can't take our games.
I guess with that, so it's not officially a strike yet. They've just they now have the authorization to do it, right?
To vote on it.
So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think it's, it's funny if you work for a union, you are striking to get these COVID dollars that came in after all these years. So I actually, while this sucks, I mean, I think you're gonna see any what are we talking about? UPS did it, SAG and the Writers Guild, like every single union is gonna start to strike just so because they're seeing all the returns that happened during COVID. So I obviously would support that. So if these video game companies don't want to pay up, fuck them is what be my mentality.
It's compensation for the inflation period, that the inflation growth that's happened, and it's the AI issue. So they don't want to be like, all right, we're just going to go have AI write the next Uncharted, and so we don't have to pay the writers. That's the same thing that like I said, TV and movie guys were striking against. Mm-hmm. So I find it interesting how quickly AI has become an issue in all these industries, all these different places, and how, like I said, how fast it happened, because it was like within the last year, I think AI really became a hot button topic for all of this stuff. Right. So this is going to be interesting.
Well, I think,
Rob, what do you think?
Go ahead, Rob. All
right. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you've got, the issue that actors were having within the movie world with the AI, for example, my wife, who is a SAG member, worked on Zack Snyder's Star Wars parody, whatever it's called. I don't remember what it's called. It's not out yet.
Yeah.
But she worked on that. And she had to, this wasn't her choice. She had to have her body scanned, her face scanned, and she was told that she is going to be her likeness will be put in various scenes if they make a video game on it, which they are.
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon, that's it. That her likeness can and might be used within the video game. Same when she was in Obi-Wan. The exact same thing happened to her. They scanned her. They said, "Okay, you're part of Star Wars now, and we will be using your likeness whenever we see fit." Now they might not actually do it, but it wasn't a choice. But if they do it, if they make Obi-Wan 2 and start sticking my wife in background scenes, or if they make a Rebel Moon game and start sticking my wife in the background, or making her an NPC or something like that, she's not seeing a penny of that. So I can certainly appreciate where she's coming from and where these actors are coming from. So yeah, I think it's warranted, and I don't think it's greedy or out of left field or anything like that. I think fair play is fair play.
Yeah. And I think, any like content industry, I guess, is kind of a gross way to describe it. But, anything that puts stuff out like that, like when I scroll through TikTok, I don't know if you guys are down this algorithm on TikTok, but I get a lot of AI generated like music. Like, so it'll be like, Stone Cold Steve Austin sings,
Oh yeah, I get those all
whatever
the time.
random
The
song.
Beatles.
Yeah, the
Mr.
Beatles.
Krabs is singing
Yeah.
Poker Face.
Or I saw one. It was
Stuff like that.
yes.
I don't get those.
Yes, Schwarzenegger singing Whitney Houston. Things like that.
I get those a lot.
God, they are like they're so
pretty good, right?
Yeah, they're so good that it's like disturbing. So like, I don't think anybody saw. I think kind of AI kind of like snuck up on everybody, because once it started hitting the social medias, like you're like, oh wow, this isn't a joke. This isn't like some like the as Vactor would say, the future is now.
I remember like in 2013 or whatever it was, when they very first had that, man, I can't remember if it was NVIDIA or somebody came out and they said, look, we can clone somebody's voice, and they showed it. They just demonstrated it. And I thought at that moment, I was like, what is stopping them from faking, your voice that you committed a murder or something? Like, how would you, if you're in the court of law and they play this tape, Rob's like, yeah, I killed him. I killed him good.
I'm murdering
case-
you right now.
Case
I'm
closed.
stabbing you. Guess
Rob,
what?
you're going to
dead,
jail.
and I did this.
Right. Like, yeah, like
So-
phone calls used to be, you could present a phone call in court, but like phone calls are probably going to go the way of like a lie detector test where like you can have it and it might help certain things, but you can't present it in court because it doesn't hold anything anymore because everybody, you know, if
Right.
you've talked enough in public on a public speaking platform, you are clonable, you know, very easily, you know, by anybody.
And I think it's going to get that way with video too. Like, oh, look, we've got you on tape of you doing this. And it's like, all right, that was CG, that was AI, like to the point where you can't trust your eyes or your ears. Then what can you trust? That's kind of a scary premise and thought of what can you say is, okay, I know this is me 100%, just DNA evidence.
Right.
So that was way back in 2013 or whenever that was. Like when that information came out, I was like, what? And then it's just taken this long, I think, to kind of catch up. But like I said, within the last year, like we started hearing about Chat GPT and all of these AI things have become consumer grade where people can use it. Anyone can use it, I should say. So that's going to be very interesting as it progresses.
Right.
Something that Jeff will find interesting as it progresses is iPhone video games. And Jeff and I are having that new iPhone 15 Pro Max in our hands. We're going to be able to play all of these games. And Resident Evil 4, the remake, is going to cost $60, Jeff. Now, there is going to be a free demo, which is the one I will be downloading and playing. But everything I've been hearing is this is the exact port of the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil 4. It's like the code is the exact same. So I'm interested to see how well it plays on the phone. Now, like I said, Jeff and I are the ones that have this model of iPhone, so we'll be able to play it firsthand. I don't know if Rob will be able to download it on his phone, or do you have to have an iPhone 15?
I straight up won't download
Dang.
it.
Oh.
Even if I had the phone that could play it, I wouldn't download it
Mhm.
because I'm not going to want to play it on my phone.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
just
well,
Ooh.
do you have an iPad?
Yes.
It says you can play it on iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro Max, and iPads containing an M1 or later chip. So you can also play it on your iPad. I wouldn't want to play it for a long period of time on my phone, but like right now I have my MacBook plugged into my monitor. I would plug in my phone to my monitor and play it that way. And I would have a controller also. I wouldn't be playing it on the virtual thumbsticks, which I hate. So this will be interesting to kick the tires on, Jeff. Would you go the full $70 or $60? Or do you just want to play the demo, Jeff?
No, but I would like to do, I would never play it on my phone screen. I'm like Rob. I don't think I'm interested in like sitting on my phone and doing it. I would like to see some of these combos that I've seen for the new 15 of people using the USB-C port, you know, this Thunderbolt port, whatever they're gonna, you know, the high speed port. I would like to hook it up to my TV and see how it plays. Like, is this like the Nintendo solution? Like you come up with a little more elegant of a solution, but maybe they've finally tracked down a way to make these higher end games run. So I'll probably download the demo just to look at it and like plug in a controller and just see how it plays. I think my real interest would be just to see, can I hook it up to my TV with a series of adapters and play it on my TV without much of a headache, you know? Or so I would want to get eyes on it. I'm sure it's been done, but I want to see.
Yeah, I've seen people that somehow magically got codes already, but the actual public release is not until October 30th. So the end of this month, we'll get to see Resident Evil Village on the iPhone and iPad. You can actually currently buy it for $30 on the Mac. So if you're wanting to play it on Mac, it's half the price, and you can play it right now. They also have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for $15. So I'm interested to see how this, like I said, just plays, because it's supposed to be the exact port of the PlayStation code. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I wouldn't necessarily buy this game, but as I've told you boys before, my wife is a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and she wants to try out Mirage. So that would probably be the one. If I buy any of these games, it'll be Mirage.
We're gonna have to get your
But-
wife on the pod to review it.
Yeah. I hope they have a demo of everything. Like, remember the days when they just had demos of every game on the Xbox
Those were the
Arcade?
days.
That
were the
is what
days.
I want. I can play every single game and decide if I want to spend my full hard-earned money on it. But that's the one that I'll be checking out, boys.
All right, all right.
And that's the news.
Good job, Vactor. Good job on the news. It's time to move on to our Let's Play section. Talk about the games we've been playing this week. And boy, oh boy, do we got some stuff to talk about. First and foremost, it's time to get an update on ZELDA Gate 2023. As you listeners recall, JeffW made a promise several weeks ago that he would, in fact, beat ZELDA.
And Jeff
Tears of the
never
Kingdom.
makes a promise that he can't keep.
And he said by next episode, we're about 5 episodes past that. So I'm curious, Jeff, is this the week you beat Tears of the Kingdom?
No, my car got ran over. I could give a fuck about Zelda. Is how I feel.
But you
I
could
don't
be
give a
playing
shit
Zelda
about Zelda at all.
while you're waiting for your car to get repaired. You could be playing
No.
Zelda. That's the beauty of the Switch.
I wish.
All right. So we'll check in next week on ZELDA Gate 2023 to see if next week is the week Zelda, or excuse me, next week's the week that Jeff finally makes good on his promise to beat Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. All right. So first thing I've got on my Let's Play list is Trent got a new gaming PC. Let's hear all about it, Trent.
It's right there. It's a 1080 graphics card. It's got the works. So I put all the games on there: Fortnite, Call of Duty, Xbox Game Pass. All the
Fortnite.
greats are on there.
Fortnite. It's got
That's the
Fortnite.
best games.
More Fortnite.
So we can play Ahsoka, and we can have Ahsoka dancing and doing the Dougie. That's the game I want to play, boys. And
doing the Cephas.
I want to get Spawn on my Call of Duty. So we're gonna have some fun on the old PC.
What was the first game you played? Was it Fortnite?
The first game I think was Super Adventure Hand. Oh no, I'm
He
sorry.
lied.
No,
He
I'm sorry.
lied.
I was incorrect. It was Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight was the first game I played. But
All right.
as you saw behind the scenes, I had some issues where every time I pressed the A button, which is like the main button on most games, it would come up with an Xbox Game Bar box, and it was like, do you want to turn on this, and this? And it made it playing impossible. So I had to stop playing Super Adventure Hand and then figure out what it was, because it didn't say what that box was. So after some Googling, I found out, oh, it's the Xbox Game Pass bar, or Xbox Game Bar, which I never use. So I finally just turned that off, and then that fixed my problem. So that was a headache for a second, but I got that taken care of, and then I could play my Shovel Knight in peace.
Well, there you go. We're proud of you. We're happy that you're part of the PC gaming master race now. You've joined us. We prepared, Jeff and I prepared a song. Jeff, take it away.
I know.
Jeff represents
You-
the Lollipop
You
Guild.
two are the singers in this group. You have fun with that.
All right. Well, we're happy you're back, and we're looking forward to some video game reviews now that you got your PC back.
Shovel Knight is great.
Oh boy, yes.
This guy.
This 8-year-old game. Fantastic. All right. Well, I've been playing a game this week. It's called Super Adventure Hand. Super Adventure Hand is a game that I saw actually on TikTok.
Oh, really?
The developer, DevM Games. I'm not sure if the TikTok was from DevM Games or who I was really seeing it from, but it was coming up on my FYP for quite some time. And I was like, this game seems pretty good. And it is. So, Super Adventure Hand, here's the description. Hands down, the the most adventurous and handsome hand in the world. You play as a hand on a gripping hand venture where you single-handedly face dangerous obstacles and defeat a handful of evil feet, Jeff. Here's the premise. You're a hand, you're an arm, you're a severed arm, Jeff, crawling around with your fingers, and some stinky feet come get you and they knock your arm off. And now you're just a hand, and you have to get and now that you're just a hand, you have to tackle several hand-tacular levels to get from point A to point B. Ultimately, what it is, Jeff, it's a little platformer. You are a hand, of course, and you are presented with several obstacles like, okay, I've got to get these keys over to these keyholes and put the keys in. I got to climb these chains. I got to climb these boxes. I got to climb these chairs. Pretty much, if you can imagine the hand from the Addams Family, but that was a game, that's what this is. Jeff.
Did you say defeat? F-E-E-T?
Yeah, defeat. Jeez. These guys, Jeff. Now, this game's not bad. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck, and it's running very well on this Steam Deck. It's almost a perfect fit. I think it's also out on the Switch, if I'm not mistaken.
It's $12.99 on both Switch and Steam.
But ultimately what it is, it's a platforming game. I was, getting a little excited about it a second ago. But ultimately what it is, it's a platforming game where you are tasked with getting from point A to point B with several obstacles that are getting in your way. You are given the opportunity to use bombs to blow up ice blocks. You are given the opportunity to fight against feet, which is fantastic. You have to jump from platform to platform, dodging fire, dodging all sorts of goofatry. There are things about it that I like and things about it that I don't like. For the most part, I really enjoy this game. But the things that sort of bother me about it, it is a physics-based platforming game. So sometimes you might find yourself jumping, areas you didn't mean to jump. But other times, the platforming is really great. You ride little skateboards down these little hills. You've got to slide on ice blocks to get where you want to get. One thing I really like about these games, one thing I really like about the levels in this game is that at the end of each level, you get a, what's the right way to put it? You get a leaderboard. So you get to see how fast you beat these levels compared to other players. And some levels I'm way at the bottom of the list. Sometimes I was way up at the top. But otherwise, it's a solid platforming game. It's only, how much is it on Steam right now?
$12.99.
It's only $12.99 on Steam. So this isn't a bad game at all for $13, especially if you've got nothing else to play. So I would give this game a full recommendation, boys.
Yeah. And I think you with the Steam Deck, it's any game that you can add to the library, something that looks good but also runs smoothly on the mobile platform is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It plays very well. Only a few moments of frustration as I've been playing it. Mainly probably user error, me just jumping the wrong way, jumping on the wrong thing. But mostly good times with this game. So I'm enjoying it. For $13, it's a good purchase.
Nice.
That's what I've been playing.
Nice.
Now, Jeff, a brand new game came out. I didn't even know this game was out.
All new.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
So I've been, it's funny you say that, Rob, because I also did not know this game was out entirely yet. And I was like, I opened up Steam the other day and I saw the big header, the screen. Speaking of advertising, a game you don't have to advertise, just put it on the Steam page and store page, and there you go. Is Counter-Strike 2 finally has officially come out, which is like a weird title for this game, only because they kind of to imply 2, you would think there'd only be 1 previous one, not 4 previous Counter-Strike game or whatever. If you consider the different engines that it's run on. But yeah, I played a little bit of this yesterday actually, and yeah, man, it's fucking Counter-Strike. I will say it's essentially the same game. I think maybe I'm a little disappointed. I would just like to see them change it up. And when I get in there, you know, I can enjoy a Counter-Strike game. I also like to go in there and mess around. Like I like to play gun game to, you know, get a little better at shooting. So you kind of have like a casual game type, not this like super sweaty, you know, people are mad about somebody dying, you know, kind of match. But I think it plays well. I think it, you know, if anything, I think you guys should just like run around in it just to see basically what the Steam, you know, or Valve's engine is running at this point. Whatever their thing is called, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they've redone the maps. The maps look, you know, a lot more colorful. Counter-Strike has been, I think, rightfully so criticized for being kind of bland, kind of like almost like a raw photo that's not edited. You know, like it just looks kind of meh overall, even when they try to, you know, insert color into the game. And they pretty much fixed that here. Like it is very, very bright, very colorful in the game, in the scheme, and it felt pretty much the same when I was playing it. I played a handful of games last night. There's nothing that seems to be, you know, too crazy different. I think the buy menus changed a little bit since the last time I played Counter-Strike Go. But you know, the only other thing that I would say the only thing that's basically made me disappointed is just the lack of game types right now. If you're into super sweaty Counter-Strike only, then I think, you know, you could probably jump in and play it right away. But there's also, you know, I would love some more of the fun game types, gun game, stuff like that. There's a couple other ones that I'm trying to remember, like that you played. Deathmatch is there. Deathmatch is fun if you like to just run around and not worry about every single death and have it be as super sweaty. But, you know, still people are gonna, you know, call you various names and whatnot. But it's yeah, it's pretty fun. I think every
What
so
names you
often I like to
hearing
do
on there, Jeff?
We're not gonna repeat them. Things that I am not. Things that I'm not. Ironically, you know, which is crazy.
Oh wow! All right, things that I am not. Yeah, maybe. Well, Vactor's got a gaming PC now.
Yeah, now that he stole my stuff, yeah, now he can play it.
All right, you heard it here first. Vactor is going to be
hands.
reviewing Counter-Strike 2 next week. Put it on the list. Counter-Strike Gate from Vactor.
I'm not doing like Jeff and making promises that I can't keep. That ain't me. That ain't me.
Boy.
That's somebody else.
But you are enjoying it. How much is Counter-Strike 2? Is it free to play?
Yeah, it is free to play. Yeah, I believe so. You know, it's hard because I feel like I've bought the game before. Like, so I feel like I'm hoping I'm not misleading, but I'm pretty sure you can free to play that game. I think they have, you know, taken that approach with all their stuff lately. So yeah, it is free to play. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
it's free.
I think it's worth, you know, hop in there, play a deathmatch game. Don't get too
called
sweaty with the bombs.
Yeah, pretty good. Play on my controller while everybody decimates me on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. Well,
that's
you
the
know,
ticket.
You gotta learn at some point, Rob. Get in. Get in now.
But this isn't the time. This is not the point where I will be learning. Thank you very much. But it is the point where we are going to wrap up the show. That's been another episode of the Sandbox Gamers for this week. Don't leave yet. I got to tell you something. Did you know our very own Vactor, the Vac Attack, as some people call him, has his own YouTube channel called the Vactorverse, where he's talking anything and everything comic book related. Tell him, Vactor.
Oh, yeah. Everything comics with a little bit of Star Wars. And the little bit of Star Wars this week is the Ahsoka show. We talked about episode 7 out of 8, the penultimate episode of Ahsoka. Coming up this next week, we have the last episode of Ahsoka, on the same day as the first episode of Loki season 2. So we got some comic books, we got some Star Wars. All the fun stuff is happening over on the Vactorverse, youtube.com/Vactor.
It's in the show notes, or it isn't. I don't really know. It may or may not be there. But all you got to do is Google Vactorverse on YouTube or wherever. You'll find it. Speaking of finding us, you can check out our link tree. It's linktree/Sandbox Gamers Podcast. And you can find us on all the usual places, the TikToks, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the YouTube. We're Sandbox Gamers everywhere, except for TikTok. That one just is under my name, Wonder Rob. But you can find us everywhere. So don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, do all the... Last but not least, GG, everybody. GG.